Okay, we're back. Hello and welcome to the stream. We're gonna do a bonus playthrough for this evening. We're gonna do JickinWings course. I'm going a little out of order, but that's fine. He's here. You know, I have already done a poor job of doing all the courses in order, so we're just gonna go ahead and we'll jump out of order because the designer's in chat, and we'll give him a playthrough live. Any conditions you want to set? It looks like these are just straightforward tees. 6,800 tipping out at. That's that's a bold decision. Let's see. I'll look at your thread. Oh, you do have round by round. All right. Let's do round 2. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm gonna do round 3. I don't know if I want very high wind. No. Let's do very high winds. Screw it. Pin 2. Red tees? Oh, we're gonna play 6,300, okay. And then it was very high and east. Alright. I assume all other conditions default? Is it east? I'm already blanking. Yes, okay. Very high. This'll be interesting. I suppose you're like when you're playing a major course at 6,300, you're gonna have to do some jives things to it. Oh, different, not difficult. God, I can't read. First thought, this is a lot of rocks. I dig the look so far at first glance, but it's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna say I like the look as an environment thing. I think I am gonna really hate ricocheting off all of these rocks. But again, it's 6,300, so boy, we're gonna have to do something different. And playing in a pinball machine is certainly different. All right. I think I get a little bit of frame stuttering there. Ooh, we have an outcrop. That's interesting. I dig the interesting environmental choices. I think like the whole the technical work around the hole looks really solid. Again, I like the concept. I think like not to pick on Panda, but like he's just somebody I always associate with this, at least his early stuff. So this course has what I feel like is like a little bit of like early Panda kind of stuff, where it's just like your environmental trees are like evenly spaced throughout the entire course. They don't really exist in groves. They just in it's a like they're a liquid or a gas. They're just diffuse and expand to evenly fill their container. So it's like you have lots of vistas here, but it just kind of it gets very busy because there's no like sight lines. There's just individual trees everywhere as far as the eye can see. Which, a little bit of a nitpick, but I think like you clump them up into groves, it's going to look a little more natural, and it also lets you do sight lines and things. The ideal tree law must be obeyed, exactly. It will expand to fill its container. This is a cool green site. I like this bunker. I mean, that's, a very specific praise. I'm like, oh, I like that. That looks nice. And this green site is cool. I give you props for doing something a little different. Again, hey, I'm going to build a 6,300 yard major course is a bold swing, and I am here for it. Are you going to whiff and strike out? Quite possibly, but that's okay, because you're taking a big swing. We like big swings. I'm going to make a bogey, so there is that. I did just screw that up. It's not necessarily too easy. Drivable 4. That being said, oh god, that was a terrible idea. Power hitter kind of guy, exactly. Of course, god, this lie sucks. Flop? Yeah, we're gonna flop. I'm making a mess of it. Oh, I'm getting some real frame rate stutters there. Like, I'm making a mess of this so far. Hey, there we go, he says as he makes birdie. But so far, like, again, in order to make a plat or even a major course at 6,300 yards, I think I said earlier, you got to do some jives things. Like, it's got to get bonkers. This course feels like way too sane and calm to be a 6,300 yard major course. Well, there we go. That's a tough shot to hit. But I'm into the wind, so it almost doesn't matter. Like, I almost can't run out of room. I just smack driver and it stops here. And then I hit my pitching wedge. Or I guess I got to up a couple clubs. Maybe... I think I'm going to hit a 6. Uphill into the wind. Like, this should... With a slow, that'll be perfect. Ooh, I somehow still didn't make it to the pin. But that's still a pretty good shot. And a ton of rocks and buried trees and stuff, which I think can cause some frame rate issues occasionally. Again, I like the idea. Like, the rocks in the background are great. I'd probably pull them off the holes a little bit. Again, I like the way you framed this green. Both, like, I like the kind of rock outcropping short. Again, I think you could tone those back a little bit. Like, it's very kind of almost oppressive, like omnipresent everywhere. Like, I like the idea. I think it just needs to be, you know, like there you hit kind of like the would you like some golf course in your rocks territory. I don't know why your playthrough is getting more jokes than all the other ones. I guess something about it is just as tickling me the right way. Cause like I don't dislike this course. Like I have some concerns so far, but I don't dislike it. I'm rather enjoying it. Like the creek and the rock thing, very cool. I like that look. Again, I feel like this whole, especially like this bunker might almost be below or at. Actually, no, this can't be a water plane because it goes out to the ocean, I think. So I imagine, or maybe it is. Like your bunker visually looks like it's below water level. I guess here I'm gonna cheat and maybe break some illusions, and if I do, I'm sorry. Because I'm like, oh, you can totally put a water plane above ocean level because you don't get to see it. So you can get away with that if you wanted. And I think you do. Not by a ton, but just like a little above ocean level, which is, okay. Yep, so it is a water plane. So this isn't your default water level, and this could be below this level, which to me feels awkward if it is. Part of the reason I tend to avoid water planes a little bit myself, unless I'm doing like a multi-level stream with some waterfalls or stuff like that, just because of like playing off the default water level is a real easy way to have like kind of a bumper to prevent you from like building stuff below water level that would feel awkward. Because if you lower it too much, you're underwater, and it'll tell you immediately. I like this spot. This looks nice. I think visually this might be my favorite hole on the course so far. Part of me... I'm just gonna zip. Like I love the way that green is nestled in. Like, that's a lovely spot. But if you're going for a set piece, I feel like you almost have to curl, like part of me wants you to drop a T here, and then like let this extend a little over. Like that's a postcard hole for you. Like get a little bit of that backdrop in. Which, although I suppose you kind of got the backdrop in the last shot or last hole, so there is that. But like I don't know. Part of me wants to say like, hey, you should have tweaked the last hole to kind of hide that, so that you could come out here and get that reveal of that like that gap out into the ocean. Or whatever it's supposed to be. Oh, it's all good. Hey man, I may be a very mediocre designer, but I'm a painter, damn it, and I see sight lines. Like, I know how to frame stuff. I like framing things. I'm gonna see cool visuals. Ooh, I was gonna say, I can easily cover these. Not with this wind. This might be dicey. But we're gonna Leroy Jenkins this shit. And I was correct. Wow, I can't even make it to those bunkers. Alright. This is a funky green. I'm kind of digging it. There's maybe an odd choice here. Like, I feel like you need, if you're gonna have the runoff, like, having a green that runs off into rough to me feels a touch silly, but you know what? That's fine. We're making major contest courses. Sometimes you're gonna make weird shit. Oh, let's go. Nope, never mind. We're not going to experience it. That's fine. Plus, also, the hole that you designed there is perfectly fine. Like, it's a very nice looking par 3. I just think, like, there's an opportunity for, you know, there's a different, maybe slightly more spectacular par 3 there. My god, my putting is bad. Interesting. Again, I don't know how I feel about this kind of loopy thing. Like, it doesn't really matter because I can't reach in this wind. I don't immediately dislike it, but I don't know if I like it. It's kind of interesting. This is a funky par 5. Oh, of course it's a par 5. That would make sense. Yep, I would agree with that. I don't dislike it, but it's funky. I agree. Ooh, there's a little village built into the cliff. That's cool. Again, I like the way you framed it. It visually looks nice. It's funky. That is currently not a positive or negative statement. It is just a statement. It is funky. The green has a lot of stuff going on. I think I kind of dig it. I like the green. Like, this is one where I could see my thoughts on this whole changing multiple times, like flip-flopping between, like, I like this, or I don't quite like it, like, every time I play it, kind of thing. Yeah, I think I agree with Map in that I'm enjoying it, but think it probably undershot the difficulty a little bit. It's not bad. I mean, I'm over par. It's not like you made a CC course. But it's also like, I think, again, you took a swing. You tried to make a major course with a 6,300 yard tee. So, like, that's a big swing. And I don't know if that's one that, like, that might just be a little too aggressive. Like, I don't know if anyone can pull that off, kind of thing. Like, if you took Ben's course, which is might be the biggest dick punch I've ever played in this game, and put that at 6,300 yards, like, that might not be hard enough. So I like this hole, or I like this spot, and this is just a me thing. We're gonna go full artist mode, and I'm gonna critique like how you frame your holes. This is another great one. Like, clear some trees out. You have this sight line in your backdrop. Like, I want to see it's just like it gets very busy because there's just trees everywhere. Oh, the back tees were framed. Oh, let me go. I'm sorry. Let me go back and look at those. That might explain some of it. Ooh, okay. So my point doesn't change, but yes, the foreground framed fantastically. Love it from back here because I wasn't even talking about that. Like, yeah, the creek isn't framed from there as nicely. That's fine because you're playing the front tees. Sometimes it happens. Um, but like I love the foreground, or like the middle ground, I should say, because the foreground of the tees. The middle ground of the green and the creek and all of that stuff. But there's just a wall of like just individual trees that gets busy to me. Like these guys can go. Like clear those out. Open up this view from behind your green. I think it's gonna look a lot better. And, or like, you know, again, you could fill in these guys, like make like almost kind of wall this off. But like just the interspersed trees everywhere, it kind of simultaneously it blocks all your sight lines, and also is just like there's a lot of like tree gap, tree gap, tree gap, and it gets very busy because they never disappear because they're everywhere, but they never blend together into one big like chunk where like you know they just look like 100 individual things into instead of like a single grove type thing. Again, is that a critique of the golf hole? Absolutely not. That's just me doing artist thingies, and like, you know, because you've done a great job of like you frame the holes well for the most part, and you're making, you know, you're doing the tee shots as painting stuff, which, you know, I'm enjoying, and I might be one of the more qualified people to critique. Your main thought was to make it look natural, but you weren't sure. I gotcha. Like to me, what do you want to call it? Like, whether you decide that you want to wall that shot off and not kind of show off the ocean, or if you wanted to open that up and let it be a sight line kind of out into the, you know, the horizon. Like, both of those are options, but I feel like the trees either need to be denser or removed kind of thing. Like, they're just sparse enough that they don't... I don't know, and maybe it's just a personal preference thing, but I feel like when you just have a bunch of like evenly dispersed trees, like it doesn't look natural to me. Like it again, it's the like it looks like you know, they're not in like clusters and chunks type thing. That's fair. Kind of a northern Arizona, Nevada look. And again, I suppose like there's, you know, if you're in an environment where the trees aren't as dense, like you're in like altitude or something. Of course, we're also in the like I don't know if that's supposed to be the ocean. I did not read on where this is supposed to be set, so that one's kind of on me. I don't know if that's just supposed to be like a really big lake. Why am I not chipping? My goodness. Okay, apparently this course is hard enough because I can't chip. Actually, I don't even, like, the shot's not even that hard. I'm just not, like, I am not focused enough and not hitting shots. We get to just expose how much of a bad player I am in this playthrough series. It's gonna be great. Well, this is kind of a funky little hole. Oh, that's right. You did say you went kind of fantasy, so it's not really based anywhere. It's just, you know, it's stuff. Which is totally fine by me. It's kind of a cool look. And again, I dig the environment. I think it's just like, it's just tree density placement stuff that feels a little off to me. Honestly, I feel like, you know, not to like just heap more praise on Ben, but like he's one of the people I feel like that does that quite well in terms of like building realistic feeling like groves and stuff. Like when he tosses together plots, he does a great job of just like ooh, that's a funky little I like the outcropping with the little pillar there. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like a man-made pillar to crop up like, oh, we kind of cut into this rock for the cart path. There we go. See, like this is a shot that's framed. Like that's lovely. I mean, it's kind of offset by the tournament objects and stuff, but it's also a major course, so that's hard to avoid. So, like, you know, I give you a pass on that one. And the only hole that you use team manipulation. Oh, this one. Interesting. Nice. I dig this green. Like, this one, now that I missed the fairway, this is quite tough. I'm going to make it even tougher. Oh, the last one. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm probably playing too quickly. Hey, there we go. So I think so. I think obviously, like, I think you're gonna miss a little short in terms of the difficulty window. But as I play it, like, you didn't miss that short. It like both Riches and Metatropics courses. Again, since those are fresh in my head in this playthrough, like, this feels tougher than both of those by a lot. Like, I really didn't have to think about shots on either of those two courses, and I have to think, you know, like, it is demanding way more from me as a player than either of those courses did. Like, my scoring isn't substantially different, but it feels a lot tougher. And again, and you're doing it on a 6,300 yard course, which, like, is in and of itself kind of a neat accomplishment. The fact that you did not miss by the, you know, that you built a course that is a full, like, 1,200 yards shorter than the other ones I played that missed low, and you missed less low than they did. This is another spot where I feel like there's just, like, a lot of rocks. But I don't dislike this hole. It is perfectly fine. I think it's just a little too much rock for my taste. Well, it's a three-shotter with this wind. I have not paid a ton of attention to what direction all the par 5s play in, but I feel like this is at least the second or third par 5 that where it's just like you're ripping straight into the wind, and so it's a three-shotter because there's too much headwind. 1,700 yards shorter. Well, I mean, like, well, it's what, 6,300, and the other ones were kind of like 74, 75, I think. 73, maybe? That'd be like 1,100, 1,200. I don't dislike this. Actually, I kind of like this tee shot. This feels similar to one of the holes on the front nine. It's certainly a good golf hole, but I kind of like look over this tee shot and be like, I feel like I've hit this one before. It's gonna be the same for 18. Or like as in like the kind of same hole concept. Let's see. Also, like, obviously the bunkers are not in play for this wind, but I don't. Oh, I gotcha. Like, oh yeah, there'll definitely be some over 8,000. I think Petty's was 8,000 to start. Like, honestly, I figured we'd have a lot more of those. Like, the joke tees I made on Digos that were like 8,300 yards. Oh, there's a little bit of a floating stand there. That's okay. Just maybe a little tidbit you missed. This is a funky hole. I don't mind the tiny green. I don't think it needs to be turtle-backed as well. Especially when it just runs into the rough everywhere. Like, I like this green. I think you need to flatten it out and do something else with it contour-wise, as opposed to just making it a turtleback. I don't know what exactly you do with it, but again, I don't think it needs... The turtleback doesn't quite do it. Like, it doesn't really make it... Oh, it's all good. Trust me, there's so many courses where it's like, hey, I've play tested this 60 times. Like, I've been working on it for 2 months. Like, I think I should have caught every issue that was on it. And then you publish it and you play one more and like that day, and immediately notice something that you missed, like right after you publish, and go, crap. Hey, there we go. We have the little village. That's cool. Um, yeah, this is a decent home. I gotcha. That you know, I see what you're going for, but I think in terms of like how that plays, it doesn't add to that. Like where you can have it sloping off on around the edges of the green, but you don't really want the green to bowl that heavily and just like run off into the rough all the time. But again, you said you went kind of fantasy, and I definitely see it. Like I'm enjoying the environment. It's so hard to do something that feels unique and different anymore, and I think you pulled that off, which is, you know, like in and of itself is a nice accomplishment. I like the, you know. Now I'm just gonna pick on you for, you know, like little nitpicky stuff that makes no real difference. But like you got that your stands are peeking out a little bit over there. I don't know why I got a like a weird Sarah Palin impression going. Um, on just that one comment, but whatever. Maybe that's a sign that I should not do any more playthroughs because I'm already getting when you start getting loopy and a little slap happy, that's when you've been streaming for too long. But yeah, I really enjoyed that course. It was, you know, like low is the wrong word, but there's a lot of highs and lows to it, and like a lot of great things and a lot of things that could, you know, could be improved. But as you know, I really enjoy. You're shy about your stands peeking out. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, and that, you know, I'm calling you out here. But like as a whole, like I loved the creativity. I loved the big swings. Like some hits, some misses, but you took the swings. Like that was, you know, it was original, it was creative. There's a lot of good things going on there, and I really enjoyed it. So thank you very much for the course. That was fun. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do any more playthroughs, but I think we might do a little design. So we're not gonna sign off just yet. Um, but we're gonna call the playthroughs here for tonight. So if you're watching on playback, I don't need banners. Thanks, 2K. Yeah, anytime. Thank you for tuning in. But anyway, thank you everybody for following along. We'll catch you next time. Until then, have a good one. And if you're in chat, you can hang around for some bonus design nonsense. Alright, catch you next time.